Hello, and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I will be sharing with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension, from my highest self in the 25th dimension. And before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And also do give this video a like because that really helps me. And do leave me a comment below because I'd like to know how the stuff resonates with you, or just stop by and say hi. I'm always happy to see how people are doing, and also, to connect with you guys. So let's start reading. I will be reading from the transcript of my last session. In this case, the hypnotist was Lorraine, who is another good friend of mine. And that's because this session was done virtually. So it's a BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing session, as opposed to the usual one that I do in person with Carolyn, which is qhht. But they are the same thing beyond just the methodology that is being used. All right, so when I say Lorraine, I'm referring to the hypnotist, and when I say me, I'm referring to myself. And so the answers are really coming from the 25th dimension. All right, Lorraine. Will the people in the 3D chambers notice that there are a lot less people in the 3D chambers, which they believe to be planet Earth? Me. Yes, they will. They will now. And they will believe it's because a lot of time has gone by. So this was just a natural evolution. People stopped having so many children, kind of thing. It will all make sense. There will be nothing dire about them focusing on the new reality. They will think it's all good stuff happening. And this is the question was spurred from the fact that we are only 2 billion, or we were only 2 billion people on this planet. There were 300 million NPCs, and the rest was pretty much 50-50 split between people going to 3D chambers and people going to hang out with the aliens, for the simple reason that only 3.5 million people are going to New Earth at first. And so I was wondering, since there's going to be about 850 million people in these 3D chambers, I was wondering if they're going to notice and what they're going to think about it. So it looks like everything is going to be fine. Lorraine. So they want to have a belief or an idea that there was mass die-offs due to these things or some catastrophic event. They will just believe it was a natural depopulation event. Me. Absolutely, a natural decrease in the population. They will, however, know that these things were removed because they killed a lot of people, not as in a massive depopulation like the dark meant for these things to do, but they will know that there were enough concerns, enough people being hurt that these things were recalled for that reason. But no, it will not be a scary event. It will just be a normal evolution in our history. Lorraine, thank you for that. The other two takedowns that have taken place in the multiverse, we know they didn't move with their bodies, but they incarnate somewhere else as babies, or did they project their body somewhere else? Did their memory get wiped, or did they remember what had happened and they didn't lose time? So as she was asking the question, the 25th was actually was answering one question at a time. And so when she asked, did they incarnate someone else as babies? The 25th said yes. And when she asked, did they project their body somewhere else? The 25th said no, because you have one of these two options. And then did their memory get wiped out, or did they remember what had happened and didn't lose time? And this is when they gave the longer answer. So me. Yes, we already answered this. Basically, they moved on and reincarnated as babies, but all on similar planets they had set up, and they forgot about not all of them became babies, obviously. You're going to a planet set up for you, similar like we talked about. One takedown happened on an aquatic planet. They had another aquatic planet that they reincarnated in. And they reincarnated, most of them as babies. Some may have been taking over NPC bodies. However, they did have amnesia about the previous experience, and they just moved on. And remember, the soul forgets nothing. The essence forgets nothing. Therefore, the experience was absorbed and integrated. But these people were ready to just have another experience. And so all of them basically, unless there was somebody that wanted to go back to the 25th, all of them moved to another planet. And this makes sense because we've been told that this particular takedown that we're going through is only the third takedown that's happening in the entire matrix since it was created by us in the 25th dimension, and that this is the first takedown where we actually take our bodies. And what they mean by that is that we actually continue our lives somewhere else. We're aware, or most of us are aware of what has happened. So the people go into 3D chambers, no, they will not remember in this lifetime. Again, the essence forgets nothing, but they will not know what has happened. They will lose time. But the people, and they have not taken their bodies. They have projected and left behind a bunch of NPCs. And the people going to and out, the aliens, though, they are taking their bodies and they will remember everything. It will be a continuation of their life here. And same with the people going to New Earth. We will remember everything. There will be no veil on New Earth. At the same time, we are not taking our bodies because we're just going to use different quote unquote bodies on New Earth, in the sense that we're going to project our bodies there, and we're not going to need to use NPCs. Basically, we're not going to use to have bodies that we find there. There are no NPCs on New Earth. If you've watched my previous videos, you already know this information, but I just want to quickly clarify some of these things for people who may be watching this video, and it might be the first video they watch on my channel. All right, Lorraine, thank you for that. This is a question I posed to Clea to ask you the other day. What will those going on the ships, the alien ships, understand about what is happening to the planet Earth? Will they think it is destroyed? Will they see it happen in real time? Will the ships hang around watching the show so they will watch Earth's dissolution with the aliens? And what story explanation will they be given for this? Me. All of them will have the ability to watch and to know. However, there will be people who will not want to watch. They will be all told what is happening and that this planet is being taken down, because they will have different stories. Aliens will have different stories from the story we're getting. So they won't necessarily say this is being taken down because it's a game and the game didn't work out. But they might say things like, we're taking this planet down because it was ruled by the dark and therefore it had to be taken down. They will kind of sweeten the story or turn it in a way that is careful with words, because they also don't want to upset the humans unduly. At the same time, there will be humans who don't want to hear this, while they are going to hang out with the aliens. So therefore, they have an awareness level that's different from the people going to 3D chambers. They may still not want to know that the planet was taken down. So while they will have the opportunity, not all of them will pick up on it. And if they are extremely distressed, the aliens might wipe a part of their memories so that they don't feel that way, until they're able to handle this information, and eventually all of them will know what's happened to planet Earth. It might just not be immediate. Keep in mind that people going with the aliens are just normal people, like our normal life, like you and me. If you have no idea what's going on, already we're having an alien pick you up, okay? You're kind of open-minded to that, but tomorrow you wake up and you're like, oh, where's the Earth? That could be quite dramatic. So not everybody will be able to handle that immediately. However, they will be given the opportunity to receive this information, and this information will be dispersed or will be given in compassionate ways, because the aliens, they haven't had this experience, but they could well imagine that this will be a very disheartening and very traumatic experience for humans to lose their planet like this. Lorraine. Yes, when I project into quote unquote the future, feeling into that potentiality, I can feel even in myself the sadness, the grief of losing something that I have loved. However, I have one more question here. I understand the aliens, or everyone involved, will be working to make this reality palatable. Will the humans believe that the aliens are taking the planet out? I'm trying to, from the perspective of seeing this happen, if the humans believe the aliens are destroying Earth, that would create an issue. However, If they believe that the planet itself just exploded for some reason, not related to a race or a being, I know they would be more accepted. Is this more of the plan? I know the 12,000 are taking down the game board but from the perception of somebody seeing this happen, just curious. And I thought this was an excellent question because, one thing is us knowing, and even us will have a hard time, accepting that this is gone, because it's not just, oh, who cares? That was that. So imagine people who have no idea that this is going on. Already being picked up by aliens as open-minded as you are, I'm sure it's going to be quite a shock in some ways. Me. Yes, that is actually a very good question that we have considered. And here's what will happen. The aliens will tell the story that needs to be told so that the people will not be overly traumatized. That will include stories of maybe there is a nuclear bomb that went off. Maybe there is the dark that destroyed the planet. So absolutely, you are correct. They will not say things like, we have all decided to take this down. The aliens might not even be aware of that themselves. They will not, and for sure, the people going to go with the aliens will not believe, oh, I've decided this, especially when you're going through bereavement, because that's what it will be. The sadness you're discussing is going to be very real. It's real to people going to New Earth. It's real to Clea right now. And she knows that this is all happening for the best, and yet. So this that you are speaking, are very real emotions that we will have to deal with and integrate, all of us. And so the aliens will do. They've already been trained on this. They will say what they have to say to minimize this type of emotional backlash for people. And it might include, besides the story, it might include sedating people. It might include just putting them under. If you want to call it a sort of hypnosis or time loss that will allow them to integrate, to deal with these emotions before they're ready to come back and handle them a little bit better. But one of the common stories, since you're asking about some of the stories they'll be telling, one of the common stories will be that, yes, something, the dark has done something to destroy the planet. Lorraine, thank you for that. I know that we in the 25th have thought of every potentiality here. From my 3D, 4D perspective, my curiosity, like Clea's, runs amok. We do have lots of questions, don't we? I think we all do. I don't think it's just me and Lorraine. Me. You might want to know that one of the stories that will be told is that there is a meteorite that has hit the planet. So there will be stories that are not even as dark. The bottom line is that people's emotions will be handled with white gloves until they're ready to hear. And this was very good for me to hear. I thought it was very comforting, because I know that I have people that are going to hang out with the aliens. And even if I didn't know anybody, I would still want to know that my brothers and sisters are okay. It's a lot to handle all of this. Lorraine, I'm sure there has to be some story that is told as to why the people have to leave the planet, because I'm sure even those on an essence level that have chosen to go to the alien experience may not be ready. So I'm certain that there is going to have to be some story told that propels or compels those souls, those essences, to choose on a 3D transition. Me, yeah, you're correct. Because think about it, even the fact that these guys are being picked up, you're like, why should I go with you, right? I mean, it's not even about the fact that they wake up the next day or whenever this happens in their timeline, in their concept of time, and the planet is gone, which would be traumatic enough to any one of us, even knowing that is going to happen. And but it's also a matter of how do you get on the ship. So yeah, I mean, I know that if this happened to me, I would have a lot of questions. I'm like, you want me to leave planet Earth? I mean, what is going on and who are you? So I'm sure there's been a lot, it sounds like there's been a lot of thinking, consideration given to this so that any emotional backlash will be minimized. And I was, as I said, very happy to hear this. Lorraine. All right, so will the people going to New Earth see the dissolution that will be done by the 12,000 right after we leave and go to New Earth? Will we have the opportunity, since we will all be connected, to observe this takedown? Me. Yes, you will have this opportunity, and it will not be shielded for the simple reason that we will all have immediate understanding on New Earth, and we'll calibrate each other. We will hold the emotional pulse together. We will be able to hold everybody in check, if you want to put it that way. We will have time to do then individually integrate this information. But you see, everything is instantaneous on your earth, and we all calibrate each other, balance each other out. So even though there might be somebody who's feeling very emotional, we will be able to calibrate that very quickly. So there will not be stories, there will not be lies told on your earth. Everybody will see what's going on, and it will be, and we will handle the consequences of that, the emotional consequences, very, very quickly. It will still take time. This is not to say it will not take time for all of us, including you and me, to go, to think about this. We will still be sad. It doesn't mean that we will be okay with it in 1 second. What it does mean is that everybody will understand why this happened instantaneously. So it will not be a state of confusion and upset to the same degree as you would have with people going to the alien planets or to hang out with the aliens. Lorraine, I can imagine that since we will have our expanded awareness and most likely a deeper inner knowing of all of this, that it will make it easier for us, me. It will be easier in the sense that you will not have a shock from it. You will not have the same level of shock and confusion and fear about the future that the people going to hang out with the aliens will have or would have if it wasn't handled. You will not have fear about the future. You will not have shock. You will not feel the loss while being concerned about, this is it, what's going to happen now. That's the difference on your earth. We will still feel the sadness, the regret, just like you're feeling it now. But we will not be traumatized. We will understand why this had to be. Lorraine, of course, I think we all love this creation deeply, the beauty and wonder that exists here on this planet that was created. And I, for one, will miss it, but I look forward to New Earth. So I wanted to close this video on these beautiful words of Lorraine's. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.